Hi guys! So another dark and beautiful day here in gloomy Sweden. Anywho, I thought I was going to touch on something that probably is it's a hot topic question for all the people out there who are into computer games. Now, when I first started doing computer games, or I don't know, making my first computer games and that type of stuff, I didn't really know like what was out there, because like I had no idea how to build my own computer games and that type of stuff. And honestly, most of the people who came to me, like was in my class at the university, they were actually not that into, like, they wanted to build computer games. Most of them actually that was the reason why they were there. And to a lot of them, it was a little bit disappointing that the education that we went through was more focused on like enterprise applications and that type of stuff. So me being the type of weird guy I am, I started looking into it on my spare time, and like just experimenting around with a few things. And although I am absolutely not an expert in game development, I've made a few small games for myself using a few tools. And I also know that from colleagues and friends from school who have been using other things that have worked out very well for them. So I thought I'd give you a few small pointers if you're into that type of stuff. So the first thing I highly recommend that you have a look at, if you are, it depends. Once again, it depends. It all depends, because there's a lot of frameworks out there and tools that you can use to do game development. If you are a Java programmer, or if you are the type of person who you want to be able to make games that are not platform specific. In other words, it's going to be possible to run them on Mac and Linux and Windows and so forth. I highly recommend a framework that I used myself to make some games, which is called libgdx. So libgdx, which is a Java-based framework for doing game development. And all I can say is that there are some really nice tutorials using this framework. It's fairly straightforward to understand if you know programming. That's the key thing here. If you have no understanding whatsoever, if you are starting from scratch, you don't know anything about programming, this is a little bit of a blocker, because this is all happening at the code level. Like everything is it's done using programming. So that's one way to go. If you've decided to become a programmer, this is a way to get there and like start making your own games. And I actually have an old, he is, believe it or not, my age, my tutor, or my teacher, mentor. He actually founded his own company and he has actually a game out on the App Store. It's called Cowdash, which is made using this technology. So it's something that you can use it for mobile development, you can use it for desktop development. So for the most part, you can, you'll be able to use it to create games for multiple platforms, which is pretty cool. It's not, I don't know if it's possible to use it for like iOS development, but for Android definitely, and for desktop definitely. So that's a great way to start if you are interested in programming. Then you have things such as, well, you can make things specific for, honestly, if you wanted to build games for just Windows, like just for Microsoft's product, I don't know much about that. That's unfortunately something I can't really give you a good tip on how to proceed. All I really know about it is that if you do that today, honestly, I don't really see a reason for it. I don't. There are absolutely tools that will help you do a lot of cool stuff, and like, but my gut tells me if you really like, if you want people to be able to use your your games and you're just starting out, odds are that you don't really need to use something specific to Microsoft. So I wouldn't go that route. And if you want to do that, please leave some, give me some pointers and tips, because I already know a bit about the other stuff, and I'm right now trying to get a better grip on C# and like Microsoft specific technologies and programming. And that's just for me, like just because I want to learn it, not because I think it's something that I'm gonna do long term. But anywho, you can go that route too. And my personal suggestion to you, if you are a complete beginner, you've never programmed, and even if you're in, like, maybe your entire reason for starting this route on becoming a programmer is that you want to make computer games, then I highly recommend you to take a look at Unity. Now Unity, you may or may not know about this, but Unity is the most powerful, most well-known brand in, well, it's not just in game development, but for the most part game developers use this. And some of my favorite games on Steam, for example, are made just using Unity. You can actually get a job just knowing Unity, and Unity is an entire platform for developing everything from animations and movies to games to all kinds of stuff. It helps you a lot. It's this type of thing that I would recommend to somebody who really just wants to get started quickly making games. There are tons of tutorials, and you can literally write entire games without knowing how to program. That's how well established and well developed this platform is. Now I'm gonna tell you, you could probably dedicate an entire curriculum at university for just Unity, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that in the world. So it's not something you just do in an afternoon, but if you really want this would be my suggestion to you to start, because odds are that you will get further in your ambition to become a game developer than with any other approach. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. So if you already know programming and you're interested in learning how to, because let's be honest, Unity is a powerful tool which will get you started very quickly, and I'm going to be honest, I think that there's very little that you can't do with Unity, but at some point, if you become like a master game developer, sooner or later you're going to have to learn like programming probably. But Unity, honestly, it's going to be a perfect fit for you if you just want to get into game development as quickly as possible.